It is 9:23. Thanks so much for being with us on Live at 9. When it comes to bringing up children, the old adage, it takes a village, definitely holds true. And that is something one local organization took to heart 5 years ago when they set out to improve education in Memphis and Shelby County. Now, their new report highlights the successes of the Memphis Education Fund and outlines what still needs to be done. This morning, we're live with the CEO of the organization, Terrence Patterson. Good morning. Thank you for joining us via Zoom. Terrence, your mission statement says your job is to increase the number of Memphis students attending great public schools. That almost sounds like a political statement, as we've heard so much about school choice. Is that part of what you do, or further describe that mission statement?
Yeah, and Mary Beth, thanks for having me. Really excited to be on. I think our focus at the Memphis Education Fund is really around advocacy and making sure we're moving policies and legislative items to ensure that students and teachers and systems have all the resources that they need to be successful. So when we think about our work, we're a partner, but we're also an investor. And so we invest, the Memphis Education Fund invest in community, in advocacy, in talent, and also in innovation to make sure we're improving student outcomes.
You also reach beyond the borders of Memphis and Shelby County to learn about and share best practices, that sort of thing. Tell us what your impact report shows in terms of results of the work of the past few years.
Yeah, our impact report is very promising, or the outcomes from it. What we found is that we have moved the number of schools that are in Memphis that are in the lowest or the bottom 5% across the state. We have moved that number down from 69 to 29. We've also found that we've increased the number of autonomous schools and charter schools that we have so that parents now have more school choice. 5 years ago, that number was around 40. Now that number is north of 70. Parents and families also now have a tool called the Memphis School Guide that allows them to select schools, look at information and data and individual plans for their students to make sure they're making the right school choices. And then we've also added over 3,000 educators, primarily educators of color and educators that are from the Memphis community, in partnership with organizations like New Leaders, Man Up, and Teach for America. So we are really excited. I think at times we can get lost in the numerical data and the actual student outcome, but what we're realizing is our ecosystem is improving. And as a result of the improving ecosystem, we are going to see student outcomes improve over the course of time.
And to that exact point, there is hard data, which of course you have to look at, but there's also that kind of soft side of things. When you mention more educators of color who are from the Memphis community, who understand Memphis's unique needs, explain why that is so important to that child who may not have other accomplished adults who look like him or her and come from a similar neighborhood as him or her. Why is that so important from an educational standpoint?
Yeah, we hear the adage all the time, you'll be what you see. And it's really important that in an environment, in a city like Memphis that is so rich in diversity, that we have teachers that are from the community, that understand the community, they understand the needs of the community. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a particular color. It just means that they have to have an understanding of what students and families are going through in Memphis. Right. And I think one way that we can do that is by being very intentional about who we recruit and how we recruit teachers and leaders to our schools. But it's as simple as we need to inspire our students, and we need to make sure our students are having adults in the classroom that understand their experience.
Large entities always move slowly, and the American education system has not changed a whole heck of a lot since I was in school a million years ago. How frustrating is it to it's like turning an ocean liner, and where do you see the biggest gaps that you need to strive to fill?
Yeah, it is a challenge. But what we've seen, if we go back to the investment that the Gates Foundation and community partners made over a decade ago. We think about the race to the top resources that were moved to the city and to the state back in 2011 and 2010. And we even think about the over $100 million that the Memphis Education Fund has invested over the last 5 years. We think that the focus has got to continue to be extending the quality of the learning day, but then also the actual learning day, continuing to leverage technology and making sure that we're using resources, which I think the pandemic really showed us that it was a necessary improvement. And then also continuing to take a laser-like focus on talent. At the end of the day, it is really going to be about who are the adults that are in the buildings, leading our children and teaching our children. And if we can invest around those three aspects, the learning day, thinking about the leaders and the talent in the building, and then thinking about how we leverage technology, I think we can move this really large system that, as you said, has not really changed over the course of the last really century.
Do we need to get the federal government out of it and bring it all local real quickly? I know that's a big question.
It's a complicated question. I think federal resources are helpful, and we know that accountability comes with that. But at the end of the day, these are going to be problems and challenges that we have to solve as a local community. But absolutely, federal resources will help us move the needle.
All right. Thank you so much for your work. Appreciate it.